Michael Horowitz. Boom! A $100 super chat saying bear down, and I'd say there's no better way to start the show, but he did it again. Michael Horowitz. Boom! A double boom to start the show. Michael Horowitz, get the booms in the chat. I'll tell you what, Rolly, Michael Horowitz has put his stamp on his Hall of Fame resume here on Chicago Bears Now.
So I would say if we're comparing some things here, because I always like to compare my life to the sports world, I would say Sealand is the GOAT, Michael Jordan, if you will. I tell you what, this Horowitz character, he might be the LeBron James.
I mean, this is something of historic proportions, I would say.
The kid's just a generational prospect. He'd go number one in any draft, I think, out there right now. How could you not take him with that number one pick?
2 stickers going on the board. I already got your stickers from yesterday. I mean, we're getting every square inch of this helmet covered before we ship it out to a lucky winner. I'll tell you what. And something tells me Michael Horowitz is going to want to get his hands on this thing as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels like a given. My goodness. Get the booms in the chat going.
You can also let us know where you're watching from.
Michael Horowitz, and let us know where you guys are tuning in from. Round of applause to Michael Horowitz, an absolute legend here at Chicago Bears. LeBron not doing Horowitz enough justice. I kind of agree.
What?
Horowitz better than LeBron.
That's the second greatest basketball player of all time.
You're talking to a Chicago audience, Rolly.
I know. But
know your audience.
I know, but like, what are we doing here?
The GOAT. The GOAT. The GOAT. Lee in Arlington Heights. We got Shane in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Daniel, my house. Nice. We got, why do we skip Kobe? R.I.P. Kobe, but I think LeBron surpassed him. Far Texas from Rock. We got Chris in Ontario. Sean saying Jordan. Yeah, Jordan's the GOAT. Rolly was saying that too.
Jordan is the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
Where did I get that? Where did that get twisted?
Rolly's just giving love to Sealand, who's kind of the OG GOAT here at Bears Now. I'll tell you what, though, Horowitz is making a push.
Rebecca's watching from Fort Myers, Florida. Rebecca, I think we've had this discussion before. I'm actually going to Fort Myers, Florida in T-minus 3 weeks. To the day, actually. Hey, 3 weeks to the day.
Drinks on Rolly?
Maybe.
Drinks on Rolly? We got someone with my name and a photo of me from a watch party in Wheaton, Illinois. Shout out to that burner account from someone watching from
MJ's in the building!
There comes Sealand! Boom! He says GOAT status. GOAT status, Sealand with the 200.
The MJ, baby!
Oh, my.
Michael.
Sealand said, whoa, you think he's closing the gap? Hang on now.
Tuning in to Chicago Bears Now out of North Carolina, 6'6" shooting guard, Michael Jordan, a.k.a. Sealand.
Sealand. Sealand. And by the way, fellas, we ordered a new helmet.
Same one, or?
You guys guess. Rolly actually doesn't know.
No, I don't get told anything around here.
I'll put a poll up. You guys guess. Guess the color of the new helmet Hall of Fame. Navy again, orange, or white?
I think I know what it is, and I have not been told, and I promise I haven't been told.
Navy, orange, or white? If you guys had to guess, go vote on the poll.
If I had to guess, I think it would be I think it's white. I think it's a white helmet,
Okay.
and we ordered orange stickers, so it's going to really pop with the white
Okay.
and the orange stickers. That would be my guess.
Rolly does not know.
Those same orange stickers on that blue helmet on a white helmet would just be unbelievably sick looking.
Yeah.
I think it's white. I think it's white, and we're also getting orange stickers. That's my guess.
All right. We'll let a few minutes go by, some more votes come in, and then we'll tell you guys. Should the Bears have hired Jim Harbaugh? Not to change the vibes too much here, but what do you guys think? Should the Bears have hired Jim Harbaugh? Curtis says he's sending 500. Listen, Curtis, you send 500 right now. We may have something coming your way. How do I send 500? So a couple ways to do it, Curtis. You could Venmo me, and by the way, we haven't offered this in a while, but $500 Venmo, we'll get a custom jersey with your name on it and rock it on the show. Or that's Venmo only. Or you could super chat. You hit the money sign next to the chat, and then you send however much you want. You'd have to put your card info in there if you don't have it already. So that's how you do it, Curtis. That's how you do it. At HGram NFL, Venmo, and Cash App if you want to do it that way. What do you guys think? Oh! From Michael Horowitz! Boom! He says, as a coordinator, he said, not interested. I'll match you, my guy. Look at Michael Horowitz go.
My goodness, man.
Michael with 3 booms. Sealand with 1 but 2 because he said it at once. My goodness. Michael effing Horowitz, man. No stone left unturned with these guys, man. It's unbelievable.
Horowitz has just come out of left field. This guy, just the GOAT. Well, I got to stop throwing around that term. Baby GOAT.
Do we have 2 GOATs at this point?
Because the greatest of all time is singular. Yeah. Can't throw around the word. He's one of the GOATs. I think that is the correct term. One of. Or we could just call him Baby GOAT.
Man.
Man,
oh man.
Bah.
Party down, Chicago Bears. Hey, I didn't know if we were going to party today, but we're already halfway to a boot. So if y'all want that to happen, there you go. We do have a super chat menu. We've only been doing the $100 kind because the big hitters have come out to play.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But first-time supers, I'm doing 5 jumping jacks. $10. It's Thirsty Thursday. We'll rip some shots for you guys. Rolly, his fast has ended, so he can drink. He can do some beer bongs. $20 will spin the roulette wheel. Sometimes we have to do something. Sometimes you have to do something. $50, we'll do a beer bong race. Man, I feel like we owe a beer bong race regardless here. $500 in 10 minutes? Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
I think so. I'll take one down regardless. Rolly might punk out, but I'll take one down regardless.
Just don't know how the body would react to me chugging a beer after not eating food for the last 3 days. 83 hours. I fasted, only had coffee and water.
Nuts.
I did have a breakfast this morning. I had egg white omelet with some peanut butter toast, but I still don't know because there's not a lot in my system still, obviously. So I still think any alcohol would honestly boom, I'm done. That's going to be honest. So I think I got to ease my way into it.
Ease his way in. Make him drink. Who will be the Bears quarterback next year? What do you guys think? Creel says, put the effing stickers down, pick the bottle up, do your job. Well, first of all, I know what my job is. You don't know what my job is. And second of all, they can make us drink and not take stickers. It's up to Horowitz and Sealand. They can specialize. Hey, beer bong instead of sticker. That's cool. That's their call. No one's stopping them from saying that. Good grief. Caleb Williams from DJ. Wayne says Justin Fields. So does Doug. Ty 3 says Caleb. Vic says Caleb. Zach says 13 greater than 1. Belichick unemployed.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It might be Jover.
He's not going to.
Does he take some kind of like senior analyst role somewhere, or does he just take a year off?
And he takes a year off.
Do you think he's done if he does that though?
Yeah, because I doubt a team would call him up next year.
A year off at his age?
The only team that I could think of doing that is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, maybe. Got to be Caleb from George. Rebecca says Caleb. I don't care at this point. I care, but I do get that sentiment. Like, it's exhausting already, and it's January 25th. Like, yeah, it's almost like I just wish.
Kiddos has got a good addition.
Say what?
Kiddos has a good idea. Draft Rolly.
Draft Rolly.
I would have us in the playoffs.
Rolly.
I'll tell you
his impact on Bears now has been undeniable.
I tell you what. One thing that I would do as Chicago Bears quarterback, I would hyper target DJ Moore.
Yeah. That worked when Fields threw to DJ. It was the highest rated quarterback receiver combo in the NFL.
I have a little bit of an arm on me. If I see DJ Moore in one-on-one coverage, I'm throwing it to him every single time.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like I'll make some audibles. No safety help over the top. Little check at the line. Hey DJ, run a 5, fade baby, fade DJ Moore, and then we'll connect on a little 45-yarder down the field.
Win the game.
Yeah, I mean it's a lock.
Matty boy, thoughts on a whiteout jersey as an alternate next year, similar to Bengals? Love the show, boys. Bear down from Green Bay. Well, speaking of a whiteout jersey,
that's the answer.
It's a white helmet.
Yeah, I knew it. It's a
white helmet. We got some orange stickers as well.
I nailed it. I knew it. I just had a feeling. I knew it wasn't going to be a blue one again because there had to be a new helmet for a new season. It up.
We'll do white for the offseason.
Oh, we're going to do white for the offseason?
I think we go white offseason and then maybe we go orange next season.
I don't think you could have it again unless you write specifically like the season on it.
What do you mean?
Like, because if we're gonna do this,
maybe right here,
like
we put 2023 Bears now.
Yeah.
All right.
And then next year's 2024.
Maybe you and I sign the inside of it.
If they'd like, it's just like I just
think the winner likes it.
If we're sending out multiple of these bad boys, there just needs to be a distinction. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. No, I like it. Maybe we change the item next year, but I like going through dude, they have the alternate helmets you can get. You can get like the old from way back, the old Navy helmets with like the white C from
Let's get the Michigan Wolverines Bears version.
Yeah, we can get that one from the 30s. All right, if you love the Bears, like this video. We do have... the
like monster is going to come out.
We do have football to talk about today, believe it or not. There's been a lot of booms in the chat. I'm going to take down, as promised, a beer bong before we kick off today's show.
The like monster will come out. There's 333 people watching, only 62 likes.
We need 100.
Can we get to 150 likes?
I think we can.
Come on. That's just half of you.
Oh!
But please still like the video. I can't start the live show until we get to 150. Oh!
But guess what? It is Sealand. Boom! He said I'd take almost anything for Fields at this point. So not only, Rolly, do we have the heavyweights going back and forth, Horowitz wants to keep Justin. Sealand wants to move on from Justin. They're duking it out. It's a perfect symbolism of Bears fans right now.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The fan base is split.
It's a split. It really is fitty-fitty.
Here's my only request with this stuff. I don't care what side you're on. I really don't. Just be respectful about other people's opinions, because there have been some out of control, out of pocket, like going after people's opinions on this thing on YouTube, Twitter. Like, listen, you want Caleb? I'm cool with that. I get that. You want to keep Justin and trade for 3 first-round picks? I get that as well. Be respectful about it. Have an open conversation. Hear them out. And if you, at the end of the day, you say, hey, I disagree, cool. We should disagree. I don't think it should be a unanimous thing when it's all said and done. Have we hit all the super chats?
We have one left.
You want to save it for the mailbag?
I was going to save it for the mailbag.
Let's flash it real quick just so he knows that we saw it in case he has to go. Zach, we're going to answer this in the mailbag as well. Pick your DC with who's left. We're actually going to dive into DC talk during news and rumors coming up here. So here's what I want you to do. Like the video, because here's what's coming up next. Bears news and rumors. We've got a DC search update, some juicy rumors items as well that we're going to dive into, so we'll get to that off the top here in a second. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. Bears mock draft 13.0 as listen,
brother,
we keep the train rolling, and it's an interesting mock today. And then we've had so much quarterback talk. I wanted to do a segment that didn't have any quarterback talk. Draft targets with the number 9 pick, because unless they take a receiver at 1 or trade down to 3 for a receiver and take a quarterback at 9, I don't think quarterback discussion is going to be involved that much in the number 9 pick. So we're going to do that. First, we got this happy dad to take down. So, Rolly, you got to fetch some more likes.
I mean, Travis is the epitome of consistency over here. It says, like the video before Rolly deletes the channel. That's a good point, because if we don't get 30 likes in the next 30 seconds, I might delete, not the channel. I'm not going to go full meanie today. I will sign us off, though. I have the full power and ability to just delete the stream.
And that would be devastating.
And we'll just do these 4 segments on a different time, on our own time, rather than live. If we do not get 30 more likes in the next 30 seconds, I got my timer out. You got 20 seconds now. We're 12 likes away, so I like where we're at.
Oof,
if we want to go, if we want to continue the show, hit that like button. You got 15 seconds to get 7 likes. Is it possible?
Oh, man.
I believe it.
Hit the like button. We're at
9,
143.
8, 7.
They answered
the bell. We're allowed to still have a show today. How about
Holy
that?
Rolly works every time.
It does, but I don't joke either. I would delete this stream.
All right, a few more supers coming in. We'll hit those during our Q&A segment coming up in about 15 minutes. But hey, bear down, baby. We got a busy show. Let's get it. Big round of applause here on Chicago Bears Now. We crossed 86,000 subscribers yesterday. I greatly appreciate it. And man, it's in sights. 100,000 subscribers is in sights. I want to be there by the end of the NFL draft. I know that's lofty. That's 14,000 subs. I think it can happen, though. Spread the word. Hit the sub button if you haven't already. Be a part of history on YouTube. When you get to 100,000, that's a pretty exclusive club on this platform. So I appreciate it. Rolly appreciates it. Everybody at Chat Sports appreciates it. We appreciate all your love and support. Hit that sub button for daily content. All right, I am Harrison Graham. We're going to dive into some Bears news and rumors items here. Let's start with the juicy rumor around a familiar topic, signing Chase Young. Remember all the Chase Young trade rumors last offseason before the deadline? Well, they're back because ESPN has predicted that the Bears will sign Young in NFL free agency in March. Here's Jeremy Fowler, who wrote this up. He said, Washington traded its star defensive line bookends at the 2023 trade deadline with Sweat, then thriving as the Chicago Bears lead rusher. Of course, they got Montez Sweat. Chase Young now competing for a Super Bowl with San Francisco. Chicago, in its efforts to bolster its pass rush, evaluated both Young and Sweat. In the months leading up to the deadline, Sweat landed a 4-year, $98 million extension with the Bears, who could spend more money, in free agency to sign a pass rusher such as Young. Reunited, and it feels so good. Grade that singing. Could we get these guys back together? Listen, I don't think it's the craziest idea to bring in Chase Young in free agency. And now he's had a rocky career. It's been up, it's been down. He was awesome as a rookie, was hurt most of the next 2 years. Started this year pretty good in Washington. He's been a little up and down with San Francisco. He's kind of been a rotation guy because they have more depth on that defensive line. But he's a good pass rusher. He's okay against the run, not great. There were little crumbles that kind of leaked out after the trade deadline that Washington liked Sweat a lot more than Young, which is why they took less for Young, because he kind of had a reputation for taking plays off sometimes, which obviously isn't great. But if he's like a secondary pass rusher, your number 2, number 3 guy, I don't think that's bad at all. If you're being completely honest, he's played with Montez Sweat, maybe add an interior guy in free agency. And by the way, if the contract's something like what Pro Football Focus has projected, this is what Brad Spielberger has projected for Young, 1 year, $15 million, you got over $60 million in cap space, which could be over $80 million if you cut Eddie Jackson and Cody Whitehair. You can afford that. Even if it was 1 year 20, you could do that. Now, 15 is a lot more appealing, but I like doing a 1, 2 years at most. Maybe you draft an edge as well, and then you hand the keys to that player in 2025. But I'm very much open to this idea, especially if it's at a reasonable contract like this structure. What say you? Would you sign Chase Young to that deal? 1 year, $15 million, type S for sign, P for pass? I'm in. I think that's worth the gamble, worth the upside. At minimum, you're going to get good pass rush production with pressures, some sacks, some QB hits as well. S for sign, P for pass. Would you reunite Chase Young with Montez Sweat at that price tag? Let's get to another juicy rumor and idea that's floating out there. How about drafting Brock Bowers? So Danny Parkins is 670 the score, who's big on drafting Caleb Williams, if you listen to those guys or not. He's a Caleb Williams proponent. He has proposed the idea of basically drafting Williams and Brock Bowers. Let's listen or read what Parkins had to say on Wednesday. He said, in Seattle, they ran 13 personnel, 3 tight ends, 1 receiver, 1 running back a lot. On first down, second most in the league. What about Brock Bowers, he asks. What if the plan isn't Rome Odunze, which, by the way, I'd be thrilled with that, he says. But what if it's the crazy freak of nature tight end Brock Bowers to try to do the Mahomes Kelce with Caleb Williams and Brock Bowers? What if that's the plan? And then Shane Waldron does a lot of things that would have Cole Kmet and Bowers on the field with DJ Moore at the same time. I love Bowers, and I don't hate this idea. Listen, I think this McVay type of system, which Waldron has his own spin of, he runs some 11 personnel as well, 3 wide receiver sets, but you only have 1 legit receiver right now. Adding 2 legit ones in one offseason isn't easy. Maybe you run more 12, more 13 personnel. Bring back Mercedes Lewis as your number 3 tight end. Draft Brock Bowers and run some 12 and 13. I mean, that's a pretty appealing idea. I have more thoughts on this in just a second. But first, we have a deal of a lifetime here. DJ Moore jerseys are available. Some are on sale as well. Chatsports.com/DJ. If you want to pick up a DJ Moore jersey today, make sure you go ahead and do so. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Chatsports.com/DJ. But Brock Bowers, I've loved this kid since he took the field as a freshman at Georgia. I mean, he gives you a ton of yards after the catch. He makes people miss in space, which is rare for a tight end. He kind of reminds me more of George Kittle than Travis Kelce, where he just like is freaky downfield. Travis Kelce is he's just dominant, right? Like he's super consistent as a route runner receiver, great after the catch as well. But I think Bowers gives you some blocking also. I'm bullish on this idea, man. Like you add a receiver in free agency, you pair Bowers with Kmet. That's not the worst idea. If we're being completely honest. Now, does he get to number 9? Who knows? Is Odunze more likely to be there? Maybe. I will say this. These 4 skill players stand out from the rest of the pack. There's a notable drop-off after this, in my opinion. If you can find a way to get one of these dudes, regardless of what happens at quarterback, whether you pick Caleb at 1, whether you keep Justin Fields. Obviously, if you're keeping Justin Fields, it becomes way easier to for sure get one of these guys. But there are avenues to get Caleb Williams and one of the other players. Now, you're probably not going to get Marvin Harrison in that case, but maybe Malik Neighbors slips a little bit. Maybe Rome Odunze's there at 9. Brock Bowers. Like, there are avenues. Maybe you trade up a couple spots from 9 to secure one of these players. That would be huge because then, all of a sudden, you're cooking with gas in terms of the potential of what this offense could be. So, I'm open to this idea. I like Brock Bowers a lot. I think kind of like Marvin Harrison Jr., he's a very safe pick, but with huge upside as well. He's going to be a very, very good player. Let's transition here. Let's get to the latest on the defensive coordinator search, as that thing has been a little bit slower than the OC. I know it took a little while for them to pick an OC. They interviewed 9, 10 candidates, but the defensive coordinator search is kind of just now getting going, it seems like. There were 2 requested interviews before it today. Jonathan Jones reporting that the Bears requested permission to interview Bills' assistant head coach and defensive line coach, Eric Washington, for their defensive coordinator position. He previously coached in Chicago. Buffalo's defense has produced 54 sacks this year and is consistently one of the NFL's best. Now, did a little research. He was the Bears D-line coach in 2010. He was also, I think, an assistant, like just offensive analyst in 08 and 09. So he spent 3 years in Chicago. And I think you're seeing a bit of a theme with these defensive coordinator candidates. Number one, they are specific to one position group. And number two, they tend to have kind of like the leadership traits you look for, like Terrell Williams and Eric Washington, both assistant head coaches. Chris Harris, in addition to being a corners coach, he's also a defensive pass game coordinator in Tennessee. He obviously has connections to the Bears, being a player under Lovie Smith as well. I like that quite a bit. Now, I like the idea a little more of going defensive line background because I think that's the position group that still needs the most growth. Montez Sweat made a huge difference, no doubt about it, but this secondary is loaded. Linebackers are really good, which Flus that's his expertise anyway. You've got Dave Borgonzi. I like getting someone with a defensive line background. So we'll see. And I think what all those have in common, too, is you could bring them in as DC, but Flus can still call the plays, right? So, and that's something that I've very much been in favor for. All right, before we end this segment, I did want to talk about Jim Harbaugh to Los Angeles just a little bit more. I put out a YouTube short last night and kind of did a rapid-fire reaction and thoughts. The Chargers, of course, named him their head coach on Wednesday. Look, here's my main takeaway. The Bears better be right about Matt Eberflus, and Shane Waldron better work, regardless of who the quarterback is, because not pursuing Jim Harbaugh to me is a missed opportunity. It is questionable at best. I get it. He comes with a unique personality. He may want a little bit more control than you're willing to give up. But you know what, man? The guy is a proven quarterback developer. He brings physicality. He absolutely will have trenches play good because he will invest there and coach that up. If anybody's going to fix the Chargers and chargering, it's Jim Harbaugh. And he gets Justin Herbert to start. I don't know, man. I just think the idea of pairing Harbaugh with Fields or Caleb Williams would have been very, very appealing to me. The Bears obviously have not done that. Look, I'm excited about Shane Waldron. I think it's a good hire. I still think the Bears are on the up and up, but if you could have been on the up and up and upgraded to Jim Harbaugh, not only are you thinking playoffs, you might be like a legit NFC contender in his first year. So we'll see, man. We'll see if they regret this or not. I hope they don't. That's all I'm going to say. I hope they don't because I truly believe, based on what I was told and based on him taking an NFL job, that had the Bears fired Matt Eberflus and shown big interest in Harbaugh, I think they could have got him or at least had a very good chance. They opted not to do that, and now we see where the chips fall. Should the Bears have fired Harbaugh? What do you think? Y for yes, N for no. I wish it would have happened, but obviously they did not do that. You know, whether it's Kevin Warren and him not getting along, Ryan Poles didn't want to go that route. They just believe in Matt Eberflus. Whatever the case it is, they didn't do it, so it is what it is. Hit that subscribe button again. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Thanks for tuning in to these Bears Rumors and News show. Got a super chat from Keem. It's getting messy. Some people love their opinions more than they love the Bears. Let's keep it clean and bear down. It's kind of my point. So this is in reference to earlier of like, listen, I don't care what side of the quarterback debate you're on. I find myself thinking about all scenarios all the time. It's hard to pick a side. Like, and by the way, you don't have to be like, I'm on this side and the other side doesn't make sense at all. Like, I promise you guys that I will tell you which side or which way I would go. But I'm also going to make it clear when I do that video of like, hey, if they go the other way, A, I understand it, at least to an extent, and B, I'm going to root like hell for that quarterback. Like, and if not, then I don't get what you're doing here. Like, are you a fan of the Bears or an individual player? Like, yeah, if they get rid of Justin, I'm going to root like hell for him wherever he goes, but not when he's playing the Bears. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how I look at things. Aaron Wolf, excuse me, some water here. All right. The Chargers are going to be in the playoffs next year. Guaranteed, maybe Super Bowl. I wouldn't say that. They have some salary cap hell they got to deal with. It could be a one-year transition period, but I could see them being a playoff team. I don't think that's a takeover and make a run to the Super Bowl. Like, good chance they're going to have to dump Khalil Mack, which, hey, Bears, you want to bring him back? Could make some sense. Not on a trade, but if he gets cut, you know, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, they could get cut, so we'll see what happens there. Shane First time super chat, he says, spin that wheel. Doing some jumping jacks, too. Shout out to Shane. Let's get it, Rolly.
Hey, fellas. Rolly was not caught off guard by the $20 super chat for the Wheel of Names. I had this puppy locked and loaded. And on cue, let's spin it, baby.
All right.
Unlucky for you.
Yeah, sometimes it's roulette for a reason. Sometimes you do something, sometimes we do. So we said we're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. I'll tell you what. We got almost 500 people watching. I know a lot of you guys who watch midweek are subscribed. If we get 10 new, how about this? 6 new subscribers, because we're at 86099. So if we get to 86105 in the next 1 minute, 6 new subscribers, that's it.
I got it pulled up.
We'll do a beer bong race, because Rolly bowed out of the first one. So he'll hop into this one. And I'll take one down as well.
Pull it up. Let's see here.
6 new subscribers. Daily content.
There's one.
There's one. Need 5 more. We're publishing 2+ videos per day. By the way, I don't know when. It's not 100% official. A little birdie says we might be going live 3 days per week in the off season. Just throwing that out there.
4.
2 away. 2 away.
What's the timer at?
25 seconds. 25 seconds. Hit that sub button.
5.
We're what away?
6. There it is.
Let's go.
86,105.
All right, we'll do it after the Q&A segment. After this Q&A segment, we will do a beer bong race. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Get your questions on the show. We appreciate it. Let's make it happen. Appreciate all the new subscribers who just hopped in. You won't regret it. It's free. Daily content. Hey, if you end up hating the channel, you can unsubscribe. I'm not going to stop you. I think you'll like it, though. I think you'll like it. And by the way, would you guys be on board with a potential Monday, Wednesday, Friday live schedule in the off season from yours truly? Yes? No? We're thinking 3 days a week. Now, Rolly probably wouldn't be with us all 3 if I had to guess, because he's knee-deep in NBA coverage.
Yeah, I would guess.
He'd probably do 2 of the 3.
I'd guess that's probably
He'd
unlikely.
probably do 2 of the 3.
Maybe to do all those, to be honest.
Say what?
So I would be guessing it'd be pretty unlikely for me able to do all 3.
Well, and sometimes you're out, like random days, because your NBA schedule, so 8 days a week. If only, Aaron, if only there were more days in the week. Do it every day like CHGO. Yeah, you know, they do 5 days a week live, but we also do a lot more non-live videos that we publish. So just different strategies, different content. So I'm a big fan of those guys, though. I had Adam on the show at the Super Bowl last year. Good guy, man. I like what they do. Big fan of those guys. All right, Q&A coming up. If you have any questions, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. We'll do the beer bong race after this segment, and then we'll have 2 more segments after that. So here we go. Bears Now continues. It's time for another Chicago Bears Now mailbag. I'm Harrison Graham. Here comes F. Marsh. He says, if a team offered a first-round pick for Jaylon Johnson if he's franchise tagged, would you take it? So basically what he's saying is, if you franchise tag a player, you can trade him. Tag and trade, it does happen sometimes. If a team offered a first, would you take it? Well, first of all, I still think the thing I'm most in favor of is a contract extension. Let me get that clear. And look, he's worthy of an extension. He was the highest graded corner in the NFL per PFF. Second team All-Pro. I thought he should have been first team over Sauce Gardner. But that's neither here nor there. He had a great year. There's no doubt. Are there minor injury concerns with that shoulder? Yes, there are. But I still think he's absolutely worth it. And even if I'm offered a first, I'd probably still keep him. Now, if a team's picking in the top 10 or 15 and offers a first, you at least have to consider that. But if you trade him still, you're probably looking to draft or sign a corner, right? So it's kind of like, okay, sure, I get a first, but then am I going to draft Kool-Aid McKinstry or Nate Wiggins or something like that to try and replace that production? Yeah, like sure, it'd be cheaper on a rookie contract, but chances are they're not going to be Jaylon Johnson. So I'm probably still keeping them. Yeah, I'm taking that phone call, and I'm at least hearing that team out. But at the end of the day, I would like to sign Jaylon Johnson. What would you do in that scenario? You get offered a first-round pick for Jaylon Johnson. Would you trade him? Would you keep him? What would you do? Type Y for yes, you would trade him. Type N for no, you would not. Get your votes down in the comments. Before we get to more questions from you guys, if you want to get on the show, do me a favor. Follow me on Instagram at HGramNFL. DM me your Bears mock drafts on Instagram. Best ones get on the show. We got to get to 5,000 followers. I forgot to update this number. It's actually over 4,800, so we're less than 200 away. Help us out. If you want to get on the show, let's get to 5,000 followers and make it happen. Appreciate all the support we've gotten already. DM me your mocks. Give me a follow. We'll put your mocks on a video very, very soon. Zachary Francois, pick your defensive coordinator with who's left. Well, we could show you guys the 3 that have interviewed as of Thursday, or that have been requested to interview at least. I think Chris Harris and Terrell Williams already have. As of Thursday, they also requested Bills defensive line / assistant head coach Eric Washington. Bills had a bunch of sacks this year. He's got a big defensive lineman background. He was also a D-line coach in Chicago back in 2010. I'd be cool with any of these guys. I'd lean towards the defensive line background because this Bears secondary is loaded already. Yeah, maybe I'd go Eric Washington. I like him coming from Buffalo with that defensive line production over there, bringing that over here. Lucas Prang, I understand wanting to keep Fields, but I just think it's riskier to keep him than to draft Caleb. From a business standpoint, draft Caleb. Yeah, I mean, look, there's risk on both sides, but I would probably agree, even though that, sure, if you draft Caleb, trade Fields, and Fields is awesome somewhere else, and Caleb struggles, and you don't have that draft capital, yeah, I mean, that could be a missed opportunity. But on the flip side, if you pass on Caleb and he ends up being a multi-Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber, or even just like top 10 quarterback in the NFL, and Fields doesn't take proper steps, then you've passed on the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. Yeah, you're going to have extra picks and get extra players, but at some point you do need the quarterback to reach a certain level. Could Justin get there? Absolutely. Does Caleb, in theory, have a better chance of getting there on a cheaper contract earlier on his rookie deal? I think that's possible. I do. Aaron Wolf, would you trade Justin for the 20th pick with Pittsburgh? You'd have to consider that heavily, man. If a team offers you a first for Justin and you like/love Caleb or Drake Maye, don't you have to heavily consider that? I think so. I don't think it's as simple as, yep, I'm taking it. Send me the facts over. We're doing that right now. But it's probably one of those, yeah, let me sleep on it. We'll get back to you tomorrow. And then you sleep on it and you're probably like, yeah, we're going to make that trade. Harrison Graham, my burner, apparently. I love Justin, but I just don't think Poles will keep him, especially because Caleb will reset the rookie clock. Valid point. Also, if they keep Justin and he stays mediocre and Caleb excels. Yeah, this is exactly what I was just saying. Maybe this account just reiterates what I say and it turns into mailbag questions. That was a joke, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, that's the risk, right? You keep Justin again. Caleb's awesome somewhere else. Justin stays middle of the road. It can't happen, man. Like, if you keep Justin, you're banking on him taking a major step forward. Check out our DJ Moore jerseys. We've got plenty available. Legit Nike authentic NFL jerseys. Chatsports.com/DJ. We got men's, women's. Go check them out. Link is in the comments and description of this video. It is chatsports.com/DJ. Go get yourself a DJ Moore jersey right now. Richard Lococo, #Bears, would you draft Roman Wilson and Blake Corum? I think Wilson's probably like a round 4 type of receiver. I think in that range, he saw it. I think he projects as a number 3, number 4 in the NFL. Blake Corum, 3rd round. I don't think I would spend a top 2 round pick on him, but he's a patient runner. He sees the hole well, and he's a leader. I mean, he was the heart and soul of that Michigan team in a lot of ways. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of both those players. Joshua Lippens, what do the Bears do with their own pick? Trade up or down or pick a player? If so, who would you pick? Well, If you're watching live, Josh, we're about to do a segment here in a little bit, probably 30 minutes or so. Bears draft targets with the number 9 pick. So we'll dive into some players there, but trading up and down, definitely a possibility, especially what you do at 1. I do think that Ryan Poles would like to get into the second round of this NFL draft. So there's certainly no doubt that there's different avenues there for the Chicago Bears. Jacob, if they're both there at 9, who are you taking, Bowers or Odunze? I think Odunze, but I would heavily consider Bowers, man. I think it depends on free agency. Like, if you sign Mike Evans, I'll take Bowers. If you don't sign a notable receiver in free agency, probably Odunze. But they're both very good, man. Who do you guys think is the better prospect? Type RO for Rome Odunze, BB for Brock Bowers. Man, I feel like I like Bowers as a prospect better, but getting that reliable number 2 receiver feels more important because you already have Cole Kmet. So I'd probably have to go with Odunze. William Bomer, pick an edge rusher to draft at 9. Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, or Laiatu Latu. I could order him the way I would, William. Latu was the most productive this year, but there's some medical concerns. He's not going to have incredible traits. Dallas Turner has awesome traits. He put on weight this year. He's great against the run, and he improved as a pass rusher, and there's still room to grow there. I really like Dallas Turner. Jared Verse, he's a little up and down, but I like his size. He's a little more explosive than Latu, so I would order it Turner versus Latu. James Bond, great movies. Great games too. What was the old Nintendo game? Goldfinger, Before Your Time, Rolly? Yeah, Rolly out of the womb was playing Xbox One. He said, any chance the Chargers trade Herbert for the first pick? There's been some wild rumors. Jim Harbaugh is going to bring J.J. McCarthy to the Chargers. There's just no way they're trading Justin Herbert. That would be... I like Jim Harbaugh, but I would call him out on dumping Herbert and drafting McCarthy. That's not something I would get behind. Aaron Wolf, what about trading down and picking Drake Maye or Jaden Daniels is who you mean? Interesting idea, Aaron. Stay tuned. That's all I got to say. But just in a hypothetical world, if Ryan Poles, couple of theories. One, I like Drake Maye or Jaden Daniels better than Caleb. You could trade down. Or 2, likes all 2 or 3 of the guys pretty equally, and you get offered something huge for the first pick, then yeah, that makes it more appealing to move on down, for sure. Make sure you join the channel. We have off-season coverage on the daily. Subscribe, turn on those notifications to make sure you never miss out on the latest Bears news, rumors, draft videos, free agency coverage, breaking news, whatever's happening. We got you covered. Hit that sub button, turn on that notification bell. Tie 3, Caleb 1, trade up for Marvin. Next year's draft is not as strong as this one. Sure, I mean, it's hard to know what next year's draft will be yet, but I'm not close to that scenario. It's kind of the Houston Texans model where they drafted Stroud and then traded up for Will Anderson. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. How do you value next year's draft early on here? How much are you giving up to move up a few slots? So, yeah, all those factors come into play. Michael Ortman, would you bring Ron Rivera in for DC? Nope. Senior defensive analyst? Yeah. DC, I don't want him heavily running my defense. I know it would still be Fluce's defense, but I don't like that idea at all. I actually do like the idea of a senior defensive analyst. It's another resource for Matt Eberflus to have at his disposal, a guy who's been a head coach. And then you also get, I'm chuckling because Michael Horowitz just dropped another bomb. But you also have a guy who does have a defensive background. Michael Monroe, then we'll get to another Michael. What are your thoughts on possibly signing Gabe Davis for a reasonable contract in free agency? Him and Moore plus Marvin Harrison Jr. would be lethal because all 3 can stretch the field. I like Gabe Davis as a number 3. I think he's a little too hit and miss for a number 2, but yeah, if you can get him for a reasonable price at number 3, can you get him at $10 million a year? 2 years, $18 million or something like that. 1 year, $10 million. I would definitely be open to that. Michael That's what we do for $100 super chats. He says Chargers and Jim at best are a 2-year team. They can't afford most of these guys if they go and do win a Super Bowl. And that's why, Michael, I think year one, it's not going to be a rebuild, but they're going to try to get into a better cap situation for 2025 and beyond. I don't think they necessarily have the attitude of trying to go all in year one. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But I think they're going to tinker things a bit. Michael, you're going to get another sticker in our Bears Now Helmet Hall of Fame. Rolly's neckbeard. If Polls calls Chat Sports offering number 1 and number 9 for Rolly, do you accept? Listen, this is tough. These are the hard-hitting questions that you never know how to answer. But I'm not giving Rolly up. I'm not giving Rolly up. He's at least worth 4 firsts. So Polls, you figure out. You find another trade partner. We're keeping Rolly put. That's all I know. All right. Appreciate all the questions. If you have any more, again, Instagram trying to get to 5,000 followers. Appreciate the support over there as well. At HGram NFL, you can send me your mock drafts over there. We'll react to as many of them as we can on the show. I try to get feedback on DMs as well. At HGram NFL for more Bears conversation. How about Michael Horowitz,
I thought you answered that question very well because there's a lot of rumors out there about Rolly trade rumors. So I know that the Bears are interested.
You got to shut down the noise, man.
So it's good that you came out and really just shut that down really quickly.
Now, did I shut it down like GMs do and then they're just lying through their teeth?
Oh, that's a good point.
Uh-oh. Rolly's, he's worth at least 4 firsts.
That's a good point. I don't know.
You add cash considerations. That could change things.
Cash considerations.
Oh, man. All right, you want to knock out this beer bong real quick?
Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
All right. We'll knock this out. Rolly worth 10 firsts. That's right. That is exactly right. Harry, isn't Ron Rivera going to the Eagles? Well, they just hired Vic Fangio as DC, so he might go there as an analyst, but he's not going to be their DC. Someone goes, Fields for number 1 and Jimmy G of the Raiders. What do you mean for number? Like, you're saying trade Fields and number 1 for Jimmy Garoppolo? It's got to be a troll. Seriously, what is his future in the NFL? Is he just a backup somewhere? Does he retire? Honestly, he could strike me as a guy, just be like, I've made like $100 million. I'm done. I'm going to go. I'm done. Oh, man. Does he go back to New England? That ship has sailed. All right. Well, Michael Horowitz, Sealand, everybody else, this has been something special today. Yeah, Rolly texted me at 2:30 in the morning last night, me and a few other people at the office, and was like, I can't sleep. I don't know if it's the lack of food or too much coffee because he was on a water and coffee only fast. He finally ate this morning after what, 83 hours? 83 hours. Jesus. Man. Like you had to be hungry when you woke up this morning. When did like the hunger really kick in for the first, like at a big level? Last night?
Last night, I was really thinking about eating in the morning, so I got really hungry.
Yeah. You should have just eaten last night. You cleared 72 hours.
But I just knew that I was going to get another 7 hours where I didn't have to think about anything. So why not take those 7 hours?
True. Listen, shout out Rolly for getting it done. We'll see if he still has his A game here or not. He doesn't think he does. I'll count down to give you a little, Oh, man. R for Rolly, H for Harrison. On go, we race. 3, 2, 1, go. Well, he was right. He didn't have it. The body's just, it's not there yet. Would you say you feel anything different? The energy's probably down a bit, right? Well, it's a lack of nutrients. So when are you going to go back to work out? Tomorrow? Take one more night off? Get yourself a nice dinner tonight. Get a nice breakfast or lunch tomorrow. Then get back to the get back. All right, let's go.
And it was an experience, though. I would do it again. Not for a long time, I'll say that, but I would do it again.
Like, when you say not for a lot, well, like a year?
Yeah, probably like
a year or two.
Maybe 6 months if I really felt like it. I don't know. We'll see.
Jason, number 1, number 9, next year's first in JF1 for Rolly.
You know,
I
feel like that's good value.
Not enough.
You're passing up on that?
Dude.
Justin Fields working at Chat Sports could be generational.
You're my guy, though.
Okay.
I'm a loyal guy.
All right. I'm just saying, I'm just going to advise you that you probably should take that.
Okay. That Sealand in the chat earlier. Wow, Rolly lost. Damn. Oh, man. Sealand and Horowitz. Was it Horowitz with 4 today? Sealand with 3?
Yeah.
It's been a battle.
Yeah.
It's been a battle.
Horowitz had 4 separate ones.
Sealand
with a 2 and a 1.
Yeah. 7 booms. By the way, if you guys want to see me take down a boot, we're 250 away. 250 away. We have 2 more segments, so plenty of time. All right, coming up, we got a... Yeah, I got that pulled up. I'm ready. In 15 minutes or so, we're going to take a look at some draft targets with the number 9 pick. But coming up next, we got my 13th Bears mock draft. We just keep pumping these out. 13. Does that mean Caleb Williams? Stay tuned. It's time to unveil my 13th Chicago Bears mock draft. My name is Harrison Graham, and listen, this features a trade down from number 1. You might have thought, 13, does that mean Caleb Williams with the number 1 pick? Not today. We're mixing it up. Unlucky 13 for Caleb in this one. What should the Bears do with the number 1 pick? What say you? Type K for keep it and draft Caleb or whoever, or type T for trade the pick. Let me know in the comments, what should the Bears do with the number 1 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft? Da-da-da, da-da-da. I'm trading down, but only 1 spot to the Washington Commanders. So I get number 2. The Bears pick that they traded to Washington for Montez Sweat comes back, number 40 overall. I also get their first-round pick next year, which that's a pretty penny. But you know what? If you are the Chicago Bears and you feel good about who you want at number 1, you better take a haul if you're going to trade down. So that's kind of my thinking here. And Drake Maye, come on down. Rolly loves Drake Maye so much, he put round 1, pick number 1 instead of pick number 2. And I don't blame Rolly. He's a North Carolina guy. It's possible that was my mistake, but I'm blaming Rolly on this one. He just said it's on him. Kudos to him. So number 2 pick, but we're going to keep this rolling here. Getting back to what I was saying a second, though, in all seriousness, hypothetically, what if Ryan Poles doesn't see a big gap between Caleb Williams and Drake Maye or even Jaden Daniels? Or what if he likes Drake Maye more and the Washington Commanders call up and say, hey, we want to bring Caleb Williams back to D.C. What's it going to cost? And if you're Ryan Poles, you're telling Washington, he's our pick. That's who we're taking. And you make them stare down the barrel and see how much they're willing to give up. You move down a spot for their first next year, and you get a top 40 pick back this year, and you still get the quarterback you want. Again, in this scenario, yeah, that'd be a pretty good job by Ryan Poles. You compare these 2 quarterbacks, and I do think they are the top 2. I know Jaden Daniels is getting some hype, and I like him, but I do think these 2 stand out. You know, they're very close the last 2 years in a lot of categories at the end of the day. I personally like Caleb a little more, but the gap isn't huge. It isn't. And there are some things that favor Drake. He's a little bit bigger. I think he probably throws the ball between the hashes a little bit better. So it's not like if you ended up with Drake Maye, you end up with the bad prospect. I just think the floor and the ceiling of Caleb is probably just a tick higher. But both guys are very, very good. I wanted to mix things up on this mock draft today and got a pretty good trade to do that. So that's what we went with. And hey, this is why you subscribe, because I'm not doing the exact same mock draft every time. We're going to cover every single scenario between now and April. We got Bears draft targets with the number 9 pick coming up as well. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications. You're not going to miss out on any of it. YouTube.com/BearsNow. Let's keep this thing rolling. Okay. Mock draft 13.0. Let's go Rome Odunze, number 9 overall. And this is kind of the ideal scenario, right? Like if you are going to go quarterback at 1, or in this case 2, one of those receivers getting to 9, or I'll throw Brock Bowers in there. That's the ideal combo, right? Because you need another weapon for whoever the quarterback's going to be. It can't just be DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. Rome Odunze is a stud. Daniel Jeremiah the other day said he's his favorite player in this class, and the gap between him and Marvin Harrison isn't much, if anything. He likes Odunze better than Malik Neighbors. Now, I personally like Neighbors a little bit more, but Odunze's great. He can play through contact. I've loved that he averaged almost 19 yards per catch on 92 catches. I mean, that's otherworldly at the end of the day. He's a touchdown menace as well. I'm a big fan of Rome Odunze's, and I think he could be someone that comes in here and makes a great impact for the Chicago Bears. To keep it rolling here, since you got that second-round pick back, how about Chop Robinson, the edge out of Penn State, who I've seen him go anywhere from the 20s to like mid-second round. He's been sliding a little bit for whatever reason. I think the pre-draft process will be critical for him, but I just look at his PFF numbers from last year, and those were fantastic, right? The overall, terrific. Pass rush, awesome. Good against the run. Pass rush win percentage, almost 21%. So what that means is 1 out of every 5 snaps, he is pressuring the quarterback. Sacks, 1 out of every pass plays, I should say. Had 4 sacks. I think that's probably what's dinging him a little bit, is he didn't always finish plays at Penn State, and obviously the elite ones not only get consistent pressure, but they also bring the quarterback down. But I think that can come, especially if he's not asked to be like your top guy, right? Like you bring him in here, and at best, he's going to be your second pass rusher opposite of Montez Sweat, who you brought in at the trade deadline last year. We'll see if Yannick Ngakoue re-signs. Rasheem Green's a free agent as well. DeMarcus Walker's there. He kind of moves around. He plays inside. He plays out. I'll say this. I expect edge to be a priority this offseason, whether it's in free agency, whether it's in the draft. And if you don't get one at number 9, like a Dallas Turner or a Jared Verse, if you get a second-round pick and Chop Robinson is there, that almost feels like a no-brainer at the end of the day. Today's show is sponsored by 8 Sleep. You're looking to sleep better at night. If you're having trouble doing so, 8 Sleep, the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues, are going away with 8 Sleep. Their Pod 3 cover slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling tech that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night of sleep. I picked up my Pod 3 cover from 8 Sleep a couple of months ago, and I've never slept better. Sleep science shows that in order to sleep our best, our body temperature needs to drop in the early and middle part of sleep and rise in the morning. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed by as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. That's a big range there. Not only does it keep you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just 1 month on the pod. So start the new year off right by improving your sleep with 8 Sleep's Pod 3. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. That's going to get you $200 off. 8sleep.com/chatsports, $200 off. I don't know about you. Maybe you got a 9-month-old at home as well. You need your sleep. Get better sleep with 8 Sleep. 8sleep.com/chatsports gets $200 off today. Okay, let's keep it rolling here. Round 3, pick 75, Christian Haynes, the guard out of UConn. I think he's a sleeper in this draft. 3-year starter, on the interior, which I like. I wonder if he'll consider trying to play some center in the pre-draft process. Now, to be clear, I want someone who's played center, not like some converter to the center position, because we've been down that road with the Cody Whitehairs, the James Daniels, etc. But this guy has been really consistent at UConn, and I think adding competition at guard would be a good thing. Obviously, Tevin Jenkins is a clear starter at left guard, but he has an injury history. Chances are he'll miss some time. And Nate Davis, I thought played well in the middle part of the year, but he started slow due to not practicing much because he had the family death. And then I didn't think he ended the year that well. You know, you may want to turn up the heat at that position just a little bit this offseason. And ideally, Davis wins that job. You kind of redshirt Christian Haynes here, and then he could be a starter in 2025 because I think he does have starting potential. So I think adding depth, adding competition there makes some sense. All right, day 3 picks here. I love this one. Bucky Irving. You want to talk about speed, baby. Bucky Irving is a home run hitter at the running back position. Minnesota, transferred to Oregon the last couple of years. Super productive, averaged over 6 yards per carry this year. I like his ability to catch the football as well. Had 13 total touchdowns. And again, this kid can absolutely fly. I mean, he is just a burner in the open field. And the Bears have not had that, man. Really since Tariq Cohen. And even Cohen, like, he was more like very quick than just flat out super fast. Like, don't get me wrong, he was very fast. But like, you think of recent backs, David Montgomery. Khalil Herbert has some speed, but not to this level. You know, you have a guy like Jordan Howard, who is more of a bruiser. Like, they haven't had an electric straight line runner like this in a while. Bucky Irving could provide that. I'm definitely intrigued by him in the middle of this draft. Another 4th-round pick. Remember, they have the Eagles' 4th-round pick as well. Muhammad Kamara. Remember the name. We've mocked him a couple times since these mock drafts started. He was just one of the best players in the Mountain West this year. Period. End of story. He had 13 sacks. He completely rattled Shedeur Sanders when they played Colorado. I know the Buffaloes rallied late in that game, but he was in the backfield all night in that game. He's a bit of a tweener, which is why he's a smaller school prospect. But day 3 pass rusher, 4th, 5th round. Guy's a worker. You know, I expect the reviews to be raving out of him during the pre-draft process. I wouldn't be shocked if he snuck into day 2 in the 3rd round. But I think the 4th round's probably the sweet spot, and adding another rotation rusher, I think, could be valuable here. And then one more selection here, Drake Nugent, the center out of Michigan. No 6th and 7th round picks as of now for Chicago. Developmental center, I don't think this is like your, hey, this is your Lucas Patrick, Cody Whitehair replacement. This is probably a backup who you develop. In this scenario, you're signing a center in free agency, but I think could be a starter down the road, Drake Nugent. And what I like is he was the center on a great offensive line that just won the national championship. That matters for something. So you bring him in here, develop him, put on some weight, and maybe he has starting potential down the road. All right, so to recap, mock draft 13.0, we traded down from 1 to 2, selected Drake Maye, picked up the 40th pick, which turned into Chop Robinson in a first next year. Got Rome Odunze at 9. I just mentioned Robinson in round 2. Christian Haynes, the guard out of UConn, in round 3. And then to wrap things up, Bucky Irving, the Oregon running back, in the 4th round. You also add Muhammad Kamara, the edge out of Colorado State, in the 4th. And then Drake Nugent, the center out of Michigan, with the 5th round selection. Grade today's mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. Drop your letter grade down in the comments below. Let me know how we did on today's show. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We got more Chicago Bears mock drafts coming up. We're already 13 deep. I think we're going to approach something like 30 by the time the draft gets here. So plenty more to come. We'll react to your mock drafts, to national media members' mock drafts, and draft targets, trade ideas. We cover it all. YouTube.com/BearsNow. We are the place for you.
We're critical of this mock, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I'm not surprised this was the mock. Listen, I just wanted to mix it up. I know most people are Justin or Caleb, so trading down for Drake's probably not going to be popular. Listen, I just wanted to mix it up.
It's the right move. Unbiased.
I will say, like, if Poles' evaluations are close, or hell, he likes Maye better, and Washington wants Williams, like, if that's the case, that's a pretty damn good deal.
Yeah.
Move down a spot, get 40 and a first next year, and still get a quarterback you really like. Now, if there's a notable gap, you have to take that player at 1, period.
Jeff Howe, by the way, just tweeted out that, per source, Zach Robinson is the strong candidate to join Raheem Morris as Falcons OC.
Oh, well, Rams.
I know. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
I wonder if that was part of the Falcons' thinking. Like,
would I rather have Belichick and McDaniels, or would I rather have...
Well, or even with Slowick, maybe they're thinking, this guy's so young. Like, maybe we would bring in Morris, who's done the job before. He brings this innovative young offensive guy with him.
How about this, though, Harrison? There are 2 jobs left. Seattle.
Seattle. That's it.
There's not another. The commies have
yeah, but it's Ben Johnson.
I was just saying, like,
1.5.
Ben Johnson not being hired, and there's 2 spots available.
Well, I think that's because he's a commander.
Certainly interesting. How about, by the way?
He's a commander.
Did I
hope he is. Get him the fuck out of the NFC North.
Did I have a real source tell me about Canales to Carolina? I did.
Well, I like that as well.
But
I thought that
I was
made a
told
lot of
that
sense.
if he looked good in the postseason,
which he did,
he would be under strong consideration.
Here's why it makes sense. Number one, David Tepper's a pain in the ass, so that takes you out of contention for like the Ben Johnsons of the world. I know they interviewed him, but he turned him down last year. He's not going to take it this year. Dave Canales, if you get offered that job after 1 year of calling plays, that's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Tepper's going to pay, and if he fires you after a year or 2, you're going to have a nice buyout. So he was gettable. I think it makes sense for Bryce Young. They need a guy like Canales has helped revitalize 2 quarterbacks now. So, oh, by the way, I think that's presented by. So we're going to have to.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No. At least I didn't do it's presented by on. Oh,
Okay.
I think actually you're right. I forgot we did a cold open last time on Giants.
We'll just do it on the. We'll splice that in after. Let's just, after this coldie, be sure to do presented by for this segment.
Let me double check.
Daniel says, wake up. Mitch had better stats, lady. Yeah, but you have to watch the games. Like, do you really think Fields, if he leaves Chicago, is going to just disappear basically the way Mitch has? Like, Mitch, it's possible he's not in the league next year. I think he will be, but it's gotten ugly for him, man. I hope he's in the league, but oh, man. Yep. All right. One more segment to go, and then we're going to get out of here. So let's get it. On today's show, we're going to talk a little NFL draft, so stay tuned for that on Chicago Bears Now. But listen, if you want to get on the show, get your mock drafts on the show, here's what you got to do. You got to follow me on Instagram at HGramNFL. We'll have the link in the comments and the description. DM me your mock drafts. Best ones get on the show. Easiest way to do that is to just run one of the simulators and screenshot me your mock. That's the best way for you to get on the show, by the way. Best ones get on. Got to get to 5,000 followers. We're just over 4,800, less than 200 away. Once we cross 5K on Instagram, we are putting your mocks on the show. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's dive into today's video. Chicago Bears Now is sponsored and presented by 8 Sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports to get an awesome device that you slide over your mattress that's going to help you sleep better, track your sleeping metrics. Trust me, 8sleep.com/chatsports get you $200 off. We'll tell you a little bit more about them later on in the show. Speaking of the show, we're going to take a look at some draft targets with the number 9 pick. I know all the focus. Caleb, Justin, number 1 pick. Drake Maye, Jaden Daniels. No quarterback talk on this show. Now, indirectly, quarterbacks might get mentioned, but we're not drafting any quarterbacks with the number 9 pick in the draft. We're focusing on other players, so I just, there's fatigue to this. I get it. Now, we have to keep talking about it, but on this episode, no Caleb, no Justin. Let's focus on other positions and players. So let's take a look at my first draft target with the number 9 pick in the draft. I think this has been the most consistent guy that we hear, Rome Odunze. That seems to be the popular pick. I think if you did a mock draft roundup from national media, local media, fans at home, I bet Rome Odunze to Chicago at 9 is the most common pick with that selection because he could fall there, and it's a position of need, right? We've talked about Rome Odunze a lot, 6'2", 6'3", has good size and speed combo. He can play through contact. Big play machine this year for Washington. Got even better as a vertical threat, I thought, for Michael Penix this past season. He's going to be good in the NFL. He's got wide receiver 1 potential. Beauty of this situation, he doesn't have to be that. Just come in, be a number 2 as a rookie, and then grow your portfolio from there. So I think Rome Odunze at number 9, if he's there, it's going to be pretty tough to pass on that player. That's also true with Brock Bowers. Now, the chances both of these guys, the tight end out of Georgia and the wide receiver out of Washington, fall to 9, that's probably unlikely, but I do think there's a good chance one of them gets there. You look at Bowers, 3 years at Georgia, just very consistent, big play guy, yards after the catch. They use him on jet sweeps, guys. Like, how many tight ends are carrying the football in the NFL? That would be pretty much zero, except for the couple of teams that, including the Bears a couple times this year, that do the tight end QB sneak deal where they put him in motion, snap it to him, and sneak forward. They're putting him in motion and handing it off to him at times at Georgia. Hopefully one of these guys gets to 9, because if they do, I'm probably picking one of those players. If not, maybe you trade down depending on how you feel about the rest of the board. But adding another premier offensive talent, regardless of who the quarterback is, I think is vital for this team. This year, it became clear that DJ Moore's a stud, Cole Kmet's a good player, but the rest of this offensive skill position group, the running backs were fine, but receivers and tight ends, you need more there. And Odunze and Bowers, or Bowers, certainly provide that. Now, who do you think is the better prospect? It's tough, man. I don't think it's a clear-cut answer. Type RO for Rome Odunze, BB for Brock Bowers. Different positions, different players, both great in my opinion. I think right now, in terms of what the Bears need, I'd have to lean Odunze. But if you sign a receiver in free agency, I'd probably consider going Bowers. So RO for Odunze or BB for Bowers. Now, likely gone once you pick by number 9. I think at least where we're at right now in the pre-draft process, and things can certainly change, these 6 players almost unanimously are gone by the time the Bears pick. Every once in a while, Malik Neighbors is there at 9. Every once in a while, Joe Alt's there at 9, but I think he's emerged as the top offensive tackle. We know Caleb Williams and Drake Maye are going to be gone. Pretty certain Jaden Daniels is going to be gone. Marvin Harrison, I would be shocked if he was not the top non-quarterback taken in this draft. So, these 6 players probably aren't there, so we're not going to dive deeply into them as we're focusing on players that could or should be there with the 9th selection. Before we get to our next target, let's tell you guys a little bit more about today's sponsor. That is 8 Sleep. Are you struggling to sleep at night, or do you just want to sleep even better than ever? Well, it's a new year, and it can be a whole new you with 8 Sleep. The high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues is going to be solved with 8 Sleep. Their Pod 3 cover slips right over your mattress like you see on your screen, bringing heating and cooling tech that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. I picked up my Pod 3 cover from 8 Sleep a few months back, and I've never slept better. Sleep science shows that in order to sleep our best, our body temperature needs to drop in the early and middle part of sleep and rise in the morning. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. It can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet. It allows you and your partner to cool your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees, warm it up to as much to 110 degrees. You like that option? Like if you're like me and you're married, or if you have a partner, your side can be different than the other side. And listen, I got a 9-month-old at home. I need to maximize my sleep. I'm starting to do that with 8 Sleep. Not only does it give you great temperature control, it tracks your sleep and health metrics as well. On average, Pod 3 additions to their bed, you're improving your sleep by 32% after just 1 month. 1 month. I mean, how great is that if you could get over 30% better of sleep within a month? You can. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. That's going to get you 20% off. 8sleep.com/chatsports. Sorry, not 20% off. $200 off. Think about that number. $200 off with 8 Sleep. Get started today, 8sleep.com/chatsports. Okay, let's go to the next guy here, Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner, listen, if you're not going to go offense, this is my top defensive guy right now with the number 9 pick. He's arguably the top defensive guy in this draft. You see a lot of mock drafts right now going 9 offensive players in the top 10, and the 1 is usually Dallas Turner, who's the defensive guy off the board. Sometimes it goes to the Bears, sometimes it goes to Atlanta at number 8. I thought he really improved his body this year, put on some weight. He was a little too light last year. I thought he'd be too small as a Matt Eberflus 4.3 fit, but he put on probably 15 pounds or so. He's going to be about 250, I think, at the combine. And he's a 3-down player. He can rush the passer. He plays the run exceptionally well. And he's just a physical specimen. Like, I like this guy quite a bit. I don't think there's that big of a difference between him and Will Anderson last year. I think Anderson was a little more polished, but Turner's got huge potential, and he started to put that together the last year and a half. I just kind of have visions of him opposite of Montez Sweat. Doesn't have a ton of pressure on him as a rookie, and then he can really take off, by year 2. So maybe you bring back a Yannick Ngakoue on a 1-year deal to help mentor a guy like Dallas Turner, but I would certainly be very interested in drafting this kid. What is the Bears' bigger need? Wide receiver or edge? Bigger need. I'd probably still say receiver, but edge is certainly one as well. Make your pick, wide receiver or edge. How about Olu Fashanu, the left tackle out of Penn State? He slipped a little bit because he didn't have like an awesome year. He still had a very good year, but he could be sitting there at 9. PFF grade was still very good. Excellent pass blocking year, not as great against the run. Zone grade was, fine. This is a wide zone type of offense, so does that play a role? How much of that is, who he's playing next to? It's hard to say. Let me just first say this. I am content with Braxton Jones. Now, I always think you should look to upgrade positions, but if you have several needs, and I think the Bears still do, I don't think you just force it at left tackle. Now, if Ryan Poles and his staff, if they think Olu Fashanu's a 5-time Pro Bowler, potential All-Pro, yeah, you got to consider that because Braxton Jones probably is never going to be that. But I think you can more than get by with Braxton Jones. He's an above-average left tackle in my opinion. Here's something that gets interesting. Here's what Olu Fashanu had to say about Caleb Williams. I know we're not talking about quarterbacks here, but obviously there's a chance the Bears do draft him. He said this, with Caleb Williams, everyone knew he was the chosen one. There was never a quarterback like him in the area. What does he mean there? Oh, yeah. Olu played high school football with Caleb Williams. So while this isn't a Caleb Williams, Justin Fields episode, if they do draft Caleb Williams and if they do think Olu's an upgrade at left tackle, well, there's a relationship in place there. So there is some validity to that thought. Ryan Poles has an offensive line background. Wouldn't rule out going tackle here at number 9. Don't think it's a top need, but certainly not out of the realm of possibility. Jared Verse, the edge out of Florida State, giving him the slight edge over Leatu Latu, the edge out of UCLA here. Pretty consistent the last 2 years. The production very similar. I was hoping he would take a major step forward this year, and he was kind of just similar. He still had a really good year, but I thought with that, 12, 13 sack season, you're looking at a top 3, top 5 pick. That didn't happen. I think he's now somewhere between 8 and 15. He's a bit hot and cold. He had a really good start to the year. He tore up LSU in the opener. Kind of was, just okay for the next month and a half, but then he finished the year awesome again. So it's okay, his highs are very good. I think he had 3 sacks in the ACC championship game. So at times he just gets in these modes where he's dominant and unblockable. But you want a little bit more consistency. I like the build, though. He's got more mass than Dallas Turner, I believe, so that could play a role as well. I like Turner a little more than Verse, but I like Verse a little bit more than Latu. Who do you want with the number 9 pick in the NFL draft? Dream scenario, who's the pick at number 9? Drop his name in the comment section below and let us know what you guys think. I think some other names just to be aware of. Jerzon Newton, the defensive tackle out of Illinois. I would like him more in a trade-down scenario. I think Javon Dexter showed enough things that you're not just trying to push him back a peg either. If you're going to do that, to me, do it for Chris Jones in free agency. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned Latu. very productive. Isn't going to have incredible testing. He does have some medical concerns. If that checks out, though, he should go, top 15 or so. Brian Thomas Jr., he's already going top 15 in a lot of mocks. He separated himself as the 4th best receiver in this draft up to this point, so keep him in mind. Cooper DeJean, the corner out of Iowa, this is probably only even slightly a possibility if they trade Jaylon Johnson or let him go, which I don't expect to be the case. And even then, I'm still not sure you would do it, but he's kind of in that range. Talise Fuaga, the offensive tackle out of Oregon State, he's been rising up boards. I'll verbally mention J.C. Latham as well. A couple of offensive linemen out of Oregon State and Alabama that could be in this range. Probably a little bit lower, but just names to monitor. All right, guys, there you have it. Some draft targets with the number 9 selection. My name is Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram. Trying to get to 5,000 followers. Once we do, we'll feature some mock drafts from you here on the show. All right. What do you guys want at the number 9 pick? Joe says Bowers or Alt. Fuaga plays right tackle. Yeah, I mean, that's why I mentioned him as later. He'd have to be a guy you kick inside, or if you think he could play left. So probably not realistic. Same with Latham. He plays right side, although some experts think he could play every position on the O-line except for center. Trade it from Aaron, who also says Dallas Turner. Brian says Adunze or Latu. White DB. Listen, 2 Iowa white corners the last 2 years, Rolly. Who was it last year? Riley Moss?
Yeah, he was drafted in the 3rd or 4th by Denver, and then Cooper DeJean now. 1st rounder.
There you go. DeJean, by the way, I think we found out's his pronunciation.
Oh, since when?
Since, I think, yesterday.
I don't know. DeJean for me.
DeJean does sound better. Bowers or trade it. Let's get whatever we don't get in free agency, whether it's receiver or defensive end. What about Chop out of Penn State? I think 9's too early. I mean, I've seen him slip to the 2nd round in some mocks now, so which is where I got him a minute in that mock I did 20 minutes ago. MHJ at 3, Neighbors at 9. None of Love's targets are first rounders either. Yeah, I mean, listen.
I'm not going to lie.
The Packers did a hell of a job identifying talent, man. Jaden Reed in the 2nd, Dontavian Wicks, day 3.
I'm looking at the graphics for top 15 college football quarterbacks next year.
It stinks.
Holy shit, next year's draft does stink.
Now, I do think there's a little bit of that in a lot of years, and then, naturally 2 or 3 guys emerge. But
I mean,
it'll be better than the Pickett, Malik Willis draft.
I don't know, Jim.
Yes, Carson Beck is already – if Beck came out this year, he'd be a 2nd-round lock, maybe go round 1.
Him and Ewers being the leading guys is really bad.
I hope Colorado's O-line is better because I think Shador's pretty good. But if they can't block at all, it doesn't matter. Maybe Caleb's mommy can have you all over to cry together when the Bears suck next year. Yeah, feels like a good way to end the show. Guys, be respectful, please. You can disagree with the quarterback opinion of someone else, but yours is a dog, Rolly's neckbeard says.
He stinks, dude.
I don't like how thin he is, dude. He's like 205.
He's so inaccurate.
He's so hot and cold. Going back to school is a good decision. Going back to school. Not a chance we're fan. Yeah, okay, no one's saying you can't debate, but you don't have to, the name calling's a bit much, no? Mason says, I'm a Texas fan. I don't know why you're sad. You had a good year. Oh, man. All right, we got to go. Running on fumes here.
Go Heat time, man. I'll see you in 45.
Yeah, if you're a Heat fan, Rolly's going to go live on the Heat Report for, who do you guys got tonight? Celtics! Is hopefully Terry Rozier plays a little better tonight, huh?
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. All right, I'm Harrison Graham. We're out of here. Thanks again to everyone tuning in, especially Michael, Sealand, dropping some bombs today. But everybody just keeping the chat going. Definitely a good time. Bear down. We're out of here. We'll see you guys very soon.